Everyone knew Maria. She was the heart of our family. She was the woman with a bright smile and a warm embrace. The one who always had a pot of rice and beans simmering on the stove. She owned a bustling hair salon, a place where women gathered for gossip and transformations. Maria was a devout evangelist, attending service every Sunday in her finest dress. She would try to outsing the choir, her face filled with a smug look after gossiping with the elders, yelling out hallelujah every chance she get. She seemed to carry an aura of piety, of unwavering faith. She was a beacon of strength, a pillar of the community. At least, that's what everyone believed. That's what I believed for far too long. But beneath the carefully constructed facade, a darkness festered. Maria harbored secrets, twisted and ugly, that would leave our family fractured and broken. Maria's childhood was a story she told often. It was a tale designed to evoke sympathy and pity. She spoke of poverty in a small village, of being orphaned young due to losing her mom. She described a life of hardship, of being forced to work long hours. She claimed her dark skin and wavy hair made her a target of prejudice. She recounted a story of being brutally attacked, murdering her abuser. An abusive man, she said, had beat her, leaving her bruised and scarred. She claimed the reason she wore wigs is because her hair wouldn't grow properly due to all the chemicals she uses. Her stories were always delivered with the same trembling voice, the same watery eyes. But as I grew older, doubts began to creep in. I noticed inconsistencies in her tales, details that shifted and changed. The truth, I would learn, was far more sinister. The scars Maria carried were not merely physical. They were etched deep within her soul, twisting her into something unrecognizable. Maria's racism was a living thing. It slithered through her words, poisoning everything it touched. She used racial slurs casually, her voice dripping with disdain. She warned us about those white people. Her eyes narrowed, her voice a low hiss. She saw theft and deception in the eyes of every black person who crossed her path. She clutched her purse tighter, her gaze suspicious and accusatory to everyone. She saw violence and danger in every black and white man, their skin and thick accents a threat. I remember once a white family moved in down the street. Maria watched them from her window, her face a mask of disgust. Then two ladies from the church came to her home, one black and one white, not letting the white lady get a word in and eventually making them leave her house. "They'll bring down the neighborhood," she muttered, her voice laced with venom. Her words stung, leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. Asking why was she so mean to them in a childlike voice. I was only 7 or 8 years old. The children started appearing when I was about 8 years old. They were always black, their skin a shade or two darker than mine. Maria would usher them in, her arm wrapped around their small shoulders, a wide smile plastered on her face. "This is my new foster child," she'd say. She would invent elaborate stories about their parents, tragedies that left them orphaned or abandoned. "They just need a good home," she'd say, her voice a syrupy drawl, treating them like they did not matter, or they owed her something. But the truth was far more sinister. Maria was running a scheme, taking in foster children for the government checks they provided. She saw them not as vulnerable children, but as commodities, a way to line her pockets. The children were never there for long. A few months, maybe a year or so at most, some ending up either dead or in jail. Then they would vanish, whisked away to another foster home, another stranger's house. I often wondered what became of them, these lost children who passed through Maria's clutches. Maria was a master manipulator. She wove elaborate lies, creating a web of deceit that ensnared everyone around her. She played the victim, painting herself as a martyr, a saint who sacrificed everything for her family. She knew how to push buttons, how to exploit weaknesses. She would pit family members against each other, whispering poison in one ear, then the other, sitting back to watch the chaos unfold. I became a pawn in her games, used to further her own twisted agenda. She would invent stories about me, lies about my behavior, my character. She would tell potential suitors I was promiscuous, that I was trouble. She would then offer me up to these men, promising them a naive and willing partner. I was just a teenager, but I was already learning the hard way about the depths of her depravity. Maria knew my secrets, the ones I kept buried deep inside. She knew about the abuse, the pain I tried so hard to forget. She would use these things against me, whispering reminders in the dead of night. "Don't tell anyone," she'd hiss, her breath hot on my cheek. "They'll think you're dirty. They'll think you're damaged." She planted seeds of doubt in my mind, making me question my own sanity. She would claim to have visions, dreams that foretold my future. They were always dark, filled with pain and suffering. She used these visions to control me, to keep me trapped in her web of fear. Fear kept me silent. Guilt choked my words. How could I betray the woman everyone believed to be a saint? How could I shatter the illusion she had so carefully constructed? I knew what she was capable of. I had seen the coldness in her eyes, the cruelty that lurked beneath her smile. I was afraid of what she would do, what she would say. But more than that, I was afraid of what people would think. Would they believe me? Or would they side with Maria, the respected matriarch, the pillar of the community? The weight of my silence was a heavy burden to bear, a constant ache in my chest. It took years, but I finally found the strength to break free. It started with a whisper, a tiny voice inside me that refused to be silenced. It grew louder with each lie Maria told, each act of cruelty I witnessed. I started to talk, to confide in trusted friends. They listened without judgment, offering support and understanding. With their encouragement, I found the courage to confront Maria, to call her out on her lies and manipulations. It was a painful and messy process, but it was also incredibly liberating. Breaking free from her grip was like shedding a heavy coat, a weight lifting from my shoulders. Maria's shadow still lingers, even after all these years. Her actions shaped me, molded me in ways I am still trying to understand. Her betrayals taught me the importance of trust, the fragility of family bonds. They also instilled in me a deep sense of empathy for those who suffer in silence. I learned that appearances can be deceiving, that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places. But most importantly, Maria's story taught me the power of resilience, the importance of finding your voice and speaking your truth. It is a lesson I carry with me every day, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for healing and redemption.